Welcome to Unfrazzle, a podcast for solo business owners with a big vision who are ready for a kinder, more sustainable approach to productivity. I'm Louise Miller, and each week I share bite-sized insights to help you step away from the hustle, stop faffing and stay focused so you can make your brilliant ideas happen and make a bigger impact in the world. Before we dive into today's episode, if you enjoy what I'm sharing here on Unfrazzle and you'd like to support the podcast, you can buy me a cuppa by going to buymeacoffee.com/Louise Miller and making a one-off donation. I'll pop a link to that in the show notes. Okay, grab yourself a cuppa and let's get started. Apologies to any listeners from outside the UK, but I'm about to be very British and spend some time talking about the weather. So temperatures are on the rise. We've experienced more extreme heat over the last few years, and here in the UK we're just not built for it, are we? Either physiologically or in terms of our environment. And I've been loving seeing the creative ways people are finding to stay cool, putting ice packs in front of fans, keeping damp tea towels in the fridge and hot water bottles in the freezer. I end up sleeping on the sofa when it gets too hot because the upstairs of our house turns into an inferno and there's absolutely no way I can work in my office, so the sofa becomes my desk too. And then there's the whole what on earth do I wear on Zoom calls thing. I don't want to be flashing too much skin, but I also need to be able to function. So it's a challenge, isn't it? For me, fatigue kicks in around lunchtime and all I want to do is nap and or climb inside the fridge. So much as I would love to talk about the climate crisis, that's not what you're here for, so I will restrain myself. But instead, I'm going to talk about what happens to our productivity when temperatures rise. Because unless you're fortunate enough to live and work somewhere lovely and cool, when it gets hot, getting stuff done can become a struggle. So how do you navigate your to-do list when it's hotter than the sun and you don't have AC? So do you expect to be as productive as you usually are? Do you feel guilty, frustrated, disappointed, cross with yourself for not getting enough done? Or do you take a moment to look at everything on your plate and identify the things that could wait so that you're directing your possibly limited energy on the things that matter most? Shifting your expectations of what's possible when your body is using so much extra energy to regulate your temperature and keep you safe. Now, every month in Make It Happen Club, I invite people to look at the plan they're creating and make sure that they're clear about what's most important and most impactful. And getting that clarity at the start of the month when they're in a lovely, calm headspace makes it so much easier to adjust if something unexpected happens, something like a heat wave, for example. Because when you're hot and bothered, of course you're not going to be as productive as you usually would. It's not your fault, it's biology. And yes, there are things you can do to help your body stay cool, but you can also take control of how you work so that you make the most of the energy you do have. And my hope is that you will learn to be gentle with yourself, hone in on the most important things and let everything else go. But if that isn't your experience and you're carrying guilt or stress because when it's too hot some things don't get done, can you gently let that go? These heat waves are going to happen more often, so it might be worth practicing putting your well-being above your to-do list. And yes, that might feel uncomfortable at first, but it gets easier over time. And also, putting yourself first doesn't mean getting nothing done. I'm an early riser at the best of times, and even more so when it's hot. So when the temperatures were rising, I gave myself permission to open my laptop pretty much as soon as I got up in the morning, which isn't something I would usually do. But I gave myself permission to open my laptop, say at 5 a.m, when it was cool enough to concentrate and I was awake anyway. And that meant that I could lounge about feeling hot and bothered in the afternoons without needing to stress about work. If you make an intentional choice to work shorter days, that can actually force you to be really discerning about what you choose to do with the time that you have. And that is always a good thing in my book, heat wave or not. And it's also worth thinking about what sort of work you do when. So for me, when it's hot, I start with the thing that requires the most brain power because I know I can just about manage those more kind of mechanical admin-y things when I'm starting to get tired. So I do the thing that would be most challenging for me first. So could you do something similar? Maybe shifting your working hours so that they work for you instead of forcing yourself to sit at your desk when you're melting and then struggling to stay awake. I actually really love the idea of us all pretending we're in Spain and downing tools for a siesta. Maybe we could start a petition to make that a thing when the temperature hits 30 degrees. But if you're not happy with how you've been navigating work when things get hot, what will you do differently moving forward? If the forecast is to be believed, it may well be heating up again right now, so this is a perfect opportunity to choose your approach and then practice. Making a choice to do less feels so much better than trying to do everything and then feeling like a failure when you can't. So As always, I hope that this helps, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you for listening to Unfrazzle. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend who needs a dose of calm productivity in their life. And I'd love it if you could leave me a rating or a review, as that will help more people discover the podcast. And if you're struggling with productivity right now, take my free assessment to find out what's really getting in the way of you getting things done. It takes less than 3 minutes to complete, and I'll send you tailored resources and insights that will help based on your score. You'll find that at louisemiller.uk/quiz, and there's a link for that in the show notes. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time.